Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of March. My God, I hope you're well. I'm using the Llewellyn Tarot for you today. Do I have anything to tell you? Not really. If this reading resonates, there will be an extended at the end. The link will be down in the description box. But other than that, I think that's going on for this. So, what's going on with Scorpio, please? 3 cards for Scorpio. Ooh, and we have the 7 of Cups there. We have the Tower. That's your card, Scorpio. And let's have one more, please, for Scorpio. What's coming towards Scorpio in March, please? Ooh, 2 of Wands. Interesting. Notice that the card that tried to jump out, just peeking out there, is the King of Swords. And that I would take that there are decisions that need to be made and relatively soon. But we see that already indicated here. We've got the 4 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and that does put rather a somber tone on the reading, because the 4 of Cups is that feeling of, well, kind of like, fuck, really? You know, it's that sort of energy here. But take heart, because sitting behind that is the Ace of Pentacles. So it feels like what is going on for you in March feels briefly like it is something that is vexatious to the spirit, but that passes very, very quickly, I think, because when I was in the pre-meditation before I started recording that all there was light, you know, and I've become kind of accustomed to this side of you now, Scorpio. Look at that card the wrong way around in the deck, and it's the Tower card. Let's just pop that back in there. I've become quite accustomed to this side of you, like I'm quite comfortable with it now, and I think that you are becoming more comfortable with it too, which is nice to see. But get ready for change, because it does seem like it's here. Maybe it is already here, actually. Tell me about the 7 of Cups, please. Really? All right then. So we have the Knight of Wands, we have the 3 of Swords, and we have the 8 of Wands all appearing together there. Let's have a look at this Tower card, please. Why is the Tower here? Why is the Tower here? Ace of Pentacles again. And the 4 of Pentacles, but it's shown up in the reverse, which I like. And what about the 2 of Wands, please? Hanged Man. That's the 4 of Wands there. Again, another card that tried to jump. Tell me about the 2 of Wands, please. Oh, 2 of Pentacles and the Devil. Right. King of Wands is at the bottom of the deck, followed by the Ace of Wands and the 6 of Swords. Oh, and the Ace of Swords is there as well. Right, there's a lot of aces here for you. 3 out of the 4. Indicating a big change, certainly a new direction of sorts, and possibly on all sorts of fronts. This 4 of Wands that I took out of the deck and then just put down there, and I actually meant to put there, important too, because this is the creation of a new foundation, and we see that underway here at the moment. So let's just put those to one side and have a look at this, because you start off with the 7 of Cups. Now, that is usually a card that talks about confusion or illusion in some way. But what I like about this card in the Llewellyn, just have a look at it there, is that everything's illuminated. Okay? In the standard Rider-Waite depiction, what we've got is somebody in silhouette, and they're kind of stood like this, and they're like, fuck, you know, and the cups are all very, very bright. But there's a sense that they are literally in the dark, and they are looking at all of these options. Perhaps some of them seem to be a little too good to be true, you know, all that glitters is not gold and all that. But in this one, we've got the character illuminated, and from her hands, there are butterflies coming out, and these butterflies are flapping around all of the cups. Now, in the first instance, butterflies are indicative of transformation. I hope you're not bored of transforming, Scorpio, because it seems to be something that's just coming thick and fast for you. But they're also, I feel, giving her an indication of what is in the cups, right? They're allowing her to see these cups from different angles. And so what could be a sense of illusion about what these cups contain actually turns into an exercise in knowledge, examination, you know? Very lightly delivered with the butterflies. It's not like she's having to stand up and kind of pull these cups down and examine them like that. She don't. There's this butterfly energy kind of around all of it. It's interesting because it's clarified by these 3 cards here. We've got this Sagittarius card of the Knight of Wands. We've got the 3 of Swords, and we've got the 8 of Wands here. And there's one way of looking at these that could suggest that there has been some sort of message communicated to you about the behavior of somebody else, and if it is somebody else, then it would be fairly thoughtless behavior. It's looking at the Knight of Wands in its more negative light. You know, it's it's the fuckboy of the tarot, right? So it's a complete lack of commitment and whatnot, and that could have been news that arrived, which led to your broken heart, right? But there's something else kind of going on here a little bit, because I don't really like surface interpretations of cards. I like to dig around a little bit here, and the fact that we've got some illumination having occurred here, possibly of your emotional state, but possibly of all sorts of things, right? This feels like being motivated or driven to do something revolving around a broken heart. Now, whether that is your broken heart from the past, or whether that is somebody that you are dealing with who is broken-hearted now, or whether it is the act of healing that you have undertaken that is now putting you in a position where you want to be able to help other people, right? Live in the moment rather than live in the past, because that's what the Knight of Wands does very, very well. More positive interpretation of him. I'm not sure. I would like to pull another. Let's have a look. Pull another card. Looks like it's going to be a lovely day today. Nice change. It's been grim all weekend. These cards here. I need to know about these. Well, we've got the 6 of Wands has just flown out. 5 of Cups. It's a Scorpio card. Ooh, Son of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, okay. Yeah. I'm erring towards the latter interpretation than the former, which is not to say that the former might not be true as well, but who else got this Wheel of Fortune? Wheel of Fortune, Son of Pentacles combination. I think it was Aries got that, which is interesting. 6 of Wands and 5 of Cups. It's about finding the victory. It's about finding the silver lining in the suffering, right? And for me, I've often felt like this, is that now I can see the point of why I was the way that I was, like why I've experienced the way that the things that I've experienced. It's because it's given me insight into other people experiencing those things too. You know, this 6 of Wands has got a rainbow up at the top. You know, it's finding the hope, it's finding the brightness in the situation, it's finding the gift in the situation. I think it's interesting that it's come up under this broken heart here, but this broken heart feels almost intellectual now, rather than it being an emotional representation of your state. It's or a representation of your emotional state, rather, something like that. Because we've got this card of loss here, this card of grief, this card of regret and bitterness, all these sorts of things, right? But we've got this card of victory right next to it. It seems like everything's kind of falling into place in terms of your understanding of your past. More than that, we've got the Wheel of Fortune and we've got the Knight of Pentacles there. Now, the Wheel of Fortune for me is often a card of a teaching moment. And that would tie in very, very nicely with the way I'm feeling about all of this. But it is the unexpected. It's the first of 2 cards that we have that speak specifically to the unexpected. But I like this Wheel of Fortune because it's kind of messy. But it's nonetheless beautiful for it. But it also has this owl up here in the corner. And I think that that's important too. Because the owl is a symbol of wisdom, as we know, right? Deep feminine wisdom. It's up here with the moon. And then we've got this Knight of Pentacles. We've got commitment to something. We've got a task being undertaken and being committed to, seeing it through to its completion, you know. I don't feel from any of these cards here that you are in a bad place at all with yourself. I feel like you're really quite comfortable with yourself at the moment, and that's definitely a warts and all kind of feeling, which is incredibly liberating and incredibly empowering. And I like to see this for you very much. So in your current energy, we have the Tower. Now, most people tremble and weep before the Tower, but it's not necessary for you because it is your card as well, right? It's in some ways I've seen this card to be that kind of super Scorpio energy of just throwing a grenade into a room and then standing back to see what happens. You know, it's incredibly destructive, but when the destruction is undertaken from a point of knowing that creation springs from it, when it's not undertaken to hurt or harm other people, but instead to destroy an old version of you or an old situation so that you might be reborn, so that you can rise again from the ashes. That's a very Scorpionic kind of energy there. High level Scorpio as well. And it's here with the Ace of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles in reverse, which is beautiful because we have in this act of destruction right here, immediately, the possibility of something new, which leads me to feel like whatever is being uprooted, whatever turmoil you might be experiencing at this point, it feels like it's been delivered by your own hand, which is important. Because rather than clinging on to Four Pentacles here, you've just selected the one that you want, the one that is important, and that's the one that you're working with. Now, for me, the Pentacles are energetic currency. So anything that you can invest becomes a pentacle, right? Your time, your care, your effort, your money, your love, whatever it is. But sometimes we cling on to those things, right? Rather than investing them, we're like, got to hold on to it really, really tight. And that's just not what energy wants to do. Energy wants to move all of the time. You are letting it move. And you look even at the way that this pentacle is being held there, like it's being held gently in the hand. There's no clamping down over it. Pull this here. Tell me about this Ace of Pentacles, please. Ooh, well, this is quite impressive. We have the Lover's card at the bottom of the deck. Conscious co-creation, manifestation, right? If you want to manifest something new, you have to let go of the old, and you are letting go of the old. But it's here with the Eight of Swords, the Daughter of Pentacles, and the Four of Swords here. But the Eight of Swords is in reverse, right? This is mental restriction now coming to an end, right? You are liberating your thinking in some way or another, and this feels like it's happening at exactly the right time, because you're taking your pentacle and you're putting it somewhere else. You're putting it in a different direction to where it's been before. And this Four of Swords it can be a card of taking a break. It can be a card almost of compassionate detachment, and perhaps there is an aspect of that here. But it's also a card of mental peace, you know, where this feels very uncomfortable indeed. I don't like that at all. But it's showing up in the reverse for you. So it is a coming away from that. I feel like your mind has been opened up to new opportunities, right? The possibility of new opportunities. And now what is happening is you are committing to that as a step forwards. Right? It's like, right, rather than trying to heal myself anymore, I'm going to find ways of helping others heal in the way that I have done. Right? Because you don't have to be an expert at something. You just have to be a little bit further down the line than somebody else. And then that's it, where you are. You know, that feels to me like it's where you are is considerably in front of everybody else. Lover's card and the Temperance card. Now, the Lover's card is that card of conscious co-creation. It is a card of manifestation. And the Temperance card is a card of healing. It's a card of balance and moderation, right? But it's also a card of being divinely guided. And it seems to me like you have been divinely guided to a big decision that you are making here. Like Tower, Ace of Pentacles, this Two of Wands that's here, this Lover's card here. It feels like you've been put on a path, Scorpio, and although everything's not quite right yet, there's a feeling that's so very deep inside of you that this is right, that everything else seems to have, all the ways in which you might have stood in your own way before seem to have kind of fallen to the ground, and you're like, well, no, I've got to go this way. I'm doing this, you know. And all of your preconceptions, any kind of expectations that you might have had for yourself 6 months ago now don't seem to be relevant in the same way as they were at the time. Now it's like, no, I have to go this way. It's a pull, it's a draw, it's a shove almost, except it's not really a shove because it's coming from you. It feels like you're being kind of pulled from the core down this road. And there's a knowledge that it's absolutely correct and it's the right thing, and you're maybe trying to clear things up along the way as you're going. I'll quick tie you up as I'm being pulled along like this. But even that doesn't feel that important, you know? Anything that's ending at the moment feels like it's right. Feels like it's absolutely spot on that it should be ending in this way. Because you feel so fucking peaceful about it. You know, I know Scorpio goes from the scorpion to the eagle to the phoenix, right? These are all big power animals, but there's something of the lamb about you at the moment, Scorpio, and I don't mean that you're weak or feeble or meek or mild or any of those things. It's just that level of contentment that we see here on this lamb's face. It's like, yeah, this is cool. This is my thing. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Feels wonderful. And so this act of destruction that we see with the tower is actually an act of beautiful creation. Yeah, it's wonderful. Oh, what did I read last night? I read something. Gosh, I think it might have been a comment that somebody left on one of my videos, actually. And I was like, that is absolutely spot on. And it was something along the lines of, the greatest act of fulfillment that a seed can achieve is totally breaking itself apart, right? And allowing it to change into something else. I've butchered it. It was much more beautifully put than that, but it was absolutely spot on, and it was right. That seed is that potential, right? And we're beings of incredible potential. It's inside of us all the time. But we're like a seed that's put into soil, or sometimes we're not put into soil, sometimes we're flipped onto the concrete or whatever. You Scorpios, you know what I mean. And we don't allow ourselves to break down. We don't allow ourselves to break open. And, the shell, the conditioning that we've gone through, like we've got to hold on to that really, really tight. But if we want to achieve our potential, then we have to let it all break down, you know? There's nothing more beautiful to me than seeing a weed popping up through the concrete. Yeah, not concrete, like the asphalt or the, whatever they make pavements out of. I don't know what they make paving out of, all sorts of things, right? So it's just that one tiny act of defiance. I always feel like so proud when I see a little weed. I'm like, oh, fucking go weed, that's just brilliant, and it's just there being all like, look at me go, like I'm just fucking growing. Anyway. I love the defiance of it, the survival of it, the absolute give no fucks about it. I love that. What's coming towards you in March is decision time. The Two of Wands is a crossroads energy. And I often say it's like, sitting at that point where you walk through the consequences in your mind of going one way over another, and you work out if that's where you want to go or not, right? You want to go left, or I want to go right, I'll go down, up, whatever it is. It's a card of making decisions, as the Lover's card is too. But this is the card of stepping up and making any kind of decision. This is a card of really considering the practicalities of it, the consequences of it. And it's here with the Hanged Man, the Devil, and the Two of Pentacles, which is fascinating combination here. Because this Hanged Man, I think, is counseling you to slow down just a little bit. I think once you've made your decision, it could be very tempting to throw yourself headlong into whatever it is that you've decided. But the Hangman is suspended, right? He talks about waiting. He talks about being patient of something, which is incredibly irritating. And I know, you know, how vexing that is. But we've got the Devil here and we've got the Two of Pentacles. Like, what is coming up for you in March is what feels like lots of little interruptions, little obstructions to things that you're wanting to do. And they can feel quite frustrating unless you kind of sit back and see them for what they are, because what you're doing is you're kind of sorting as you go along. Like I was saying before, like you're trying to tidy things up along the way, but you're being pulled along here. These things all require your attention, and they require your attention fully on them for as long as it takes for you to get through that and then move on to the next thing. It feels like the whole month's going to be full of things like this. Like I said, although it may be frustrating, actually it's one of those stitch in time saves nine kind of situations. Like, it's all going to hit tiny little bits of fuckery, you know, not huge like massive tower moments, just little bits of fuckery here, there and everywhere that you are required to just kind of sort out. You know, it's very practical, all of this, but some of it might be quite emotional. It might be the odd thing that just kind of pops up here, there, and you're just like, oh. Now, this is interesting because we've got the Six of Pentacles. This card talks about creating balance, right? It's about finding that middle path. Temperance talks about the same thing, right? Being very moderate. Also, there's an implication that it's slow because it's Pentacles, right? So it's earth energy. But what we've got here is the Nine of Pentacles that came up with the Five of Swords in reverse. And I think that March is a month where you have an opportunity to refine your ideas, to refine your expressions, to get really, really sharp on what it is that you want to invest in, to experience, you know, what it is that symbolizes value to you and how you bring it into your life a little bit more. Okay? It's slower than you want it to be, but at the same time, it's important. It's making sure that you're putting all of your resources in the right place, and all of these little annoying bits of fuckery that come up will indicate an area that needs your attention just for a short while to iron out all of the crinkles, and then you can keep moving, you know. But maintaining that balance in all things, whether it's in your mind or in your, you know, external environment, is very, very important for this month. Yeah, I'm going to go over to Vimeo now. I'm going to look at March specifically and see what kind of little bits of fuckery there might be here. It's going to be different for each of you, but I do feel very strongly that it is putting the effort into these things now, investing your pentacle into these things now, will stop these from growing into bigger things later on down the line. You're kind of smoothing the way for April moving forwards. Okay, so yes, I'm going to go over to Vimeo. If you would like to join me over there, there's a link in the description box. If not, no issue. I shall be back before too long. Know that I love you all very, very much. And I'll see you soon.